You do know that porn sex isn't real, right? Most women don't want to be pounded for long periods of time. Most women don't want to choke on a you know what. Most women aren't interested in being called mummy by their lover. I mean, no disrespect to people with fetishes. They can be fun and they can even spice up a relationship sometimes. But fetishes are out of control these days, and I think it is because people are watching too much porn. And you know what happens with too much porn? Erectile dysfunction, inability to climax, boredom when it comes to real life sensual encounters, a need for more and more deviant porn because you become desensitized to the vanilla stuff. Lots of people like to say that porn is harmless, but I believe the thousands of people in the world who have confessed that their porn use has had disastrous effects on their relationships and their sexual abilities. It also leads to not very good sex because your partner is not a porn star putting on a show for a camera.
Oh my gosh, that was funny. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rewired and Desired, where intimacy and mindset and disability intersect.
Mhm.
My name is Nicole, and I am your co-host, and you have your lovely Trina Ricketts as the other co-host. And today we are going to be talking about how porn, yes, you're right, you heard us right, porn impacts real life intimacy. And we're discussing this today because Trina recently had a video that went semi-viral with about 18,000 views on this subject.
Mhm.
And we decided that this would be a great subject to bring to the forefront.
Yeah, so this whole thing, the video, it only went viral on TikTok, not on my other platforms, but for some reason, I've had a lot of new followers because of it. And I didn't expect it to have such a huge response, but it's pretty interesting. And I'm excited to hear what people's comments will be under this video about their impression of it, especially after we discuss it. I come from such a unique perspective because I worked in the adult entertainment industry. I literally used to have an OnlyFans. I literally
Did you?
was an exotic dancer for years. I have tons of friends who work in adult film independently and in studios and uh, through agencies and whatnot. So I know a little bit about the industry from that perspective. And I had always truly believed that porn was just like nothing, it would not impact people in any way. It was just like something that would help people
Mm-hmm.
enjoy themselves intimately. I never had a bad impression of porn. Did you, Nicole?
No, and so that was funny you mentioned that because I always been told too that I don't want to be told, but my impression was that people did use it for that pre sexual encounters, right? Or maybe to get excited with your partner. Um, so yeah, that was my impression of it at all the time. And recently, I think now with social media, we're coming to understand that really it's not that important anymore. And it's really about now the connection because it's causing problems.
Yeah, social media in general, and porn is so similar to social media because there's this constant scrolling, constant instant reaction,
Hmm.
clickbait, and the endorphins that are released every time you get a hit, especially with porn. And I'll talk a little bit about porn and how it affects our reward centers, but um, for me, I used to have like a lot of friends who would argue that porn is completely harmless. It doesn't impact anyone in a negative way. And I totally thought that for years.
Hmm.
And it wasn't until I had an intimacy coaching client who told me that porn was impacting him in a very bad way.
Hmm.
And this man was quite young, a lot younger than most of my male clients. And he was struggling with meeting a woman, feeling
Hmm.
confident to get out and even talk to women. He was watching too much porn and he was finding it was affecting his erections and his desire. And it actually made him feel less confident in the bedroom rather than
Sure.
more.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah,
told
because he
me all
couldn't
these things.
comparing himself or something.
Yeah, like that's what I think a lot of the young men
Yeah.
probably are thinking, women too, but I think mostly men. It's more of a issue with men.
Hmm.
Uh that they like, well, if I watch porn, then I'll know how people have sex, and then they go
Hmm.
into the bedroom and they want to have sex like they watch on porn. And anyone our age, we know because it was kind of common knowledge, I thought, when I
Hmm.
was growing up, that porn is not reflective of real sex.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
I thought that.
I don't know. Like so my experience with porn was my friends and I, actually one friend in particular, we were rummaging through my parents' room and we found, I don't know why, what we were doing, but we found porn videos and she was like, she wanted to watch them. And I'm like, okay. So we watched them many, many times. And I know, I have no idea. So I feel like my idea was probably that it should have been somewhat kind of like that. Like
Mhm.
I guess I didn't really know. And some I think my view got a little swayed from just those experiences.
That is
Because
very interesting.
because as I was becoming an adult, in the beginning, like very, very young age, but I was with the father of my kids. He was my first, and then he was like the person I was with for years after that. And I must admit, I encouraged him to also watch porn. Like
Yeah,
I was like, we need to watch like, and that was the only time
yeah.
period of my life that I did. But I did feel that way, and I think it was those impressionable years before even having sex of thinking, oh, this is what sex is.
This is how it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to have my hair pulled and I'm supposed to go,
Yeah,
oh, oh,
yeah,
oh,
or
really loudly, like
yeah,
scream.
or like multiple partners, like or like not multiple, like that's we weren't doing
Like
that, but like
gangbangs and
thinking
stuff.
about or like other women involved, like threesomes
Hmm.
and that kind of thing. I mean, I think that that's what I was thinking. And
That's funny. That's so interesting that you say that because I look back at my kind of formative experiences of how I learned what sex was, and I learned it from reading my mom's romance books.
really, well, that's
And
probably a lot
I was like 12
better.
years old, and the page you if you pick the book off the shelf, it would just open straight to the sex scenes because I read them so much, just like you with your movies. And so they're like very sensual, erotic
Mhm.
scenes, and there's all this, connection going on because these books
Mhm.
are written by women. And so
Mhm.
I had the sense that it was supposed to be this very sensual thing, and the man was always very dominant, and maybe that's why I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, I feel like your version of learning was probably better than my version of learning,
Women's
right?
porn, way better. Fiction, erotic
Right,
fiction.
because it's from a female perspective where I can imagine porn is from a straight male perspective.
Mhm.
I would assume.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is, most of
Yeah.
it. There
Yeah.
is female-centered porn out there, and there is more like ethical porn out there, but it's hard to find. And you have to know what you're looking for, like know the right search words and be really intentional. You don't just go
Yeah.
straight to Pornhub and look for your favorite search words. We won't share our favorite search words, right, Nicole?
So, well, no, okay, so I'm glad you say this because Reese, I've been living nomadically for how many years, and I meet so many people from so many different walks of life. And I was working somewhere, and I remember someone mentioning to me talking about watching porn on her phone, a female, and she's like, "Well, like I'm sure you watch." I'm like, "No, I have no idea." Like, I honestly, I don't know the last time I ever even watched porn or looked up
Mhm.
porn or any of that. Like, I don't feel. I think maybe it's where I'm at in my spirituality. Is like I know that that's bringing in darker energies that I don't
Oh,
need in
okay.
my life. Yeah, I
Interesting.
feel like um it's just something that I don't need in my life. Like
Mhm.
if you focus, it's like what you focus on grows. And like because
Mhm.
I've been celibate for so long, like why would I feel the need to seek somebody out just for that experience? Because I know bringing porn into my life would probably make me feel like I need to immediately have sex.
Oh, I
Yeah.
never thought of that. So it might make you too horny. It might make you want to go out and
Yes.
do it with someone when
With
you're
a
not
rando.
maybe ready
With a rando. And I don't
with a
want to.
rando.
Well, okay, so
To me,
we
porn
talk.
is just to help you get there a little faster.
I guess maybe, but I like it's okay. It's like watching scary movies, like or watching the
Yeah, I
murder
don't like
shows,
scary
right?
movies.
Yeah, I don't
But I
either
really like
because
orgasms.
well, right, me too. But like like I don't know. I just feel like the longer I go without, the more special that it is when the time's right. Like,
Mm,
okay, in
mhm,
the beginning, one of our first episodes was the neighbor guy, right?
mhm.
The rich dude that was like hitting on me. And I look back now and I'm like, I'm so glad that it didn't happen. Even though like
Mm.
it opened my mind up to the fact that like I'm desirable again. It
Yeah.
made me want to start dating again. But
So it was
I'm glad
necessary. It
it
was
was
meant to be.
necessary, but I didn't go there. And I
Mhm.
feel had I been watching porn during this time, I probably would have, you know? Like I
Maybe.
probably. So,
Maybe. I mean, it depends on what you like to watch. Like my favorite is
by the
is just
way.
one man by himself taking care of
Oh,
his own needs. That's my favorite to
okay.
watch personally. And I don't find that that it makes me want to have sex or that it makes me
Okay.
feel bad or anything. Like it just
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I hardly ever really do watch porn. I think less women are really into porn than men. I
That,
think because men are so visually
yeah.
aroused, they're very visual creatures, whereas women we're more like fantasy
Hmm.
based, and so we can use our imagination more, I think, than a lot of men. I do encourage men
Yeah.
to learn to use their imagination because that is better than watching too much porn, and that's the problem. I think a little bit of
Hmm.
porn here and there isn't going
Yeah,
to hurt
sure.
people, just like a little bit of drinking here and there or a little bit of
Right.
anything.
Right. Right.
But yeah, what's the problem is these young men
Yeah.
especially, but
Yeah.
any age,
Right.
but just scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. They don't leave their apartment anymore. They've replaced real life intimacy with something that's safe and they'll never be rejected. And when we were growing up, we always had guys coming on to us. Like there was,
Oh yeah.
because we lived in a world where we didn't have any internet or social media or technology. And so we had to get out to do stuff if we wanted to interact with people.
Well, that's funny you say that because but like when you scrolling on you, I mean, I scroll on YouTube. That's my thing. But there's a lot of videos from men who said that they are not approaching women like they're just not. You're right. Maybe it's because of that
I'm
not
sure that
getting
porn
out.
plays a role
Yeah.
because they instead of trying to seek real life intimacy. And yeah, this is what my coaching client brought to my attention. And at the time, I was like, really? And he was like,
Mm.
yeah, he says there's whole communities online everywhere called Nofap, Nofap, Nofap communities, where they encourage each other to completely give up on porn and even masturbating altogether so that they can do like a reset
Yeah.
and be able to come back and have more fulfilling relationships, actually be able to engage in intimacy.
I yeah.
So
That
this
makes
is this
no
is what
sense.
they're finding out, like what I said in the TikTok. I actually ended up, because of this client, buying and reading a book called Your Brain on Porn. I believe that was the name of it. And it talks about how your reward centers in your brain light up when you're watching porn. And it's
Hmm.
also combined with the reward of a climax because most people, when they're watching porn, are also masturbating. And
Mm.
so you have all these reward centers going off. It becomes linked and it becomes an addiction. And it
Hmm.
becomes such an addiction that they can't go a day without. And then they'll start spending longer and longer periods looking at porn. And it'll be sucking the life
Yeah.
out of them, really.
There was a movie like that recently, and it was a younger boy who was watching porn and masturbating all the time, and it just became more and more and more. And then he finally met this girl that he was going to be intimate with her, but he couldn't even get it up because
Yeah.
he had nothing like he his arousal factor was like gone, you
It's
know?
compromised.
Yeah.
I think like the movie you watched is very like somebody wrote that because it happened to
It
them.
happened.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and it's
Hmm.
so much more common than we believe. And that's why when I know people like in the adult entertainment community who are like, porn is harmless. I saw this meme a long time. There was someone holding a sign. It said porn harms, and then someone stood next to him holding a sign, my wrist.
What? I don't get it.
Porn harms my wrist.
Oh, I get it. Okay, now I get it. Yes, yes, yes.
Is YouTube gonna censor me because I did that action?
I'm actually surprised. Like a lot of our stuff has not, like nothing's been censored yet.
Yeah, maybe because we're not that popular yet.
Yeah, true. There's that too.
Who knows?
But still, like they catch stuff pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, like I posted some videos about my vaccine injury years ago on
Mhm,
YouTube,
mhm.
and they just kind of sat there for years, and then all of a sudden one day they're like, "This uh is breaking our community guidelines," and it just like shut off, and I couldn't post anything
But
like it again.
yeah, so
It was
that's
very,
I'm glad we're careful, but then at the same time, like,
yeah.
we still have to talk about things, right? I
I
mean, what's
know,
the point? Censorship is
right?
not cool either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see where this is causing I could totally see where this is causing problem. And I get
Hmm.
like you said, everything in increments, right?
Moderation.
Everything in moderation.
Hmm.
But I also see where people don't have the self-control to keep the moderation, going. I
The
mean,
other
it's like
thing is
it's
they
an
think,
addiction.
yeah, the other thing is they think that that's the way to have sex, like I said in my video. And so then when they're actually having sex with someone, they're treating her like she's a porn victim.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
say
like
porn
a
victim because I don't want to
poor
be the
victim.
victim of someone treating me like a porn star.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
oh,
It
um,
desensitizes it. And you said too, you said women you didn't think were watching porn a lot, right?
mhm.
According to a few people I've asked after the conversation I had with this girl, it sounds like a lot of women actually watch porn.
Hmm,
I did not. I mean, according to her and according to these few people I've asked,
yeah.
they all say that it was, yes, we watch it and it's normal.
Apparently there are women in these Nofap communities. Like they're a minority, but it
Yeah.
can happen to women too. I think we're
Yeah.
just less likely because we're not as visually stimulated as
Yeah.
men. And like I didn't buy pornographic magazines growing up, but I saw them in the
Yeah.
bathroom. They were my dad's, or I had
Yeah.
boyfriends I dated who had them, but I never had them, and I didn't know any women who had them.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, is it's do you think that it's well, obviously it's more men than women,
I
but
think
do
women
you
are watching porn, but I don't think they're getting addicted to it. And I
okay,
don't
that's what
think
I was
they're
gonna
like
say.
watching it like what's the word where you compulsively, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, where you start to like shut off society and stay home and watch porn all day.
Yeah. And then when you get in the bedroom, if you've been watching like a lot of, porn sex,
Hmm.
then you think that's how you want to do it. And your
Yeah.
partner's not having fun. It's not fun for
Yeah.
them. And also you don't have that intimate emotional connection that makes sex really
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? And and that's a huge thing I find in my coaching business is a lot of people, perfectly wonderful, good people, don't know what intimate sexual encounters are.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't know what it is or how to make it happen. And to me, it's like that's the only kind of intimacy I want to have.
Hmm. Same. Same.
Yeah.
Do you think that too? I remember, I don't know what porn's like. I said, it's been a long time.
I should have made you watch it for just
I
for
should
homework
watch
for this
something.
video,
Yeah,
for this
I might.
podcast.
Pornhub. I mean, I only learned what Pornhub was a couple years ago. I have no idea.
Mhm.
Anyways, do you have to pay for it? Is it free?
No, you don't.
It's free. So
It's
like
free.
anybody can go
And
on and
there used to be there used to be nothing stopping you from just seeing it. I think now they have like you have to like click I'm over 18.
oh my gosh,
I'm
that's
not sure, but
horrible. Okay. Well, okay,
it's
so
very accessible. As a
here's my
mother,
other
I don't agree with that. I don't.
no. No, absolutely not. Well, they're so worried about banning TikTok, but yet you can just go access porn.
Yeah,
Anyways, whatever.
I know.
This is why we have the problems we have today. But what I was gonna say, that's a whole other episode. But what I was gonna say is, do you also think that okay, so the storylines I know in porn used to be so weird. Like the plumber came over to fix something, and all of a sudden there's this massive orgy going on in the bedroom.
I mean,
I
it's
mean,
kind
like
of hot.
everybody's involved. The neighbors are the neighbors are here.
Come on, Nicole, you've never had a fantasy about a guy coming to work on something in your house?
Well, okay, so that's my question. Not really, no. But
Hmm.
my my question is do you think that also just not even just like the sex part, but the storylines behind the sex part are playing into people's subconscious as well, thinking, oh, I'm just like, I'm all of a sudden like she's coming on to me. And it's like, no, she's not coming on to you. She's just saying hello to you. You're not just going to start screwing behind the tree or getting lost in the woods together.
I
Like,
don't know. I mean, I haven't watched enough porn to really be educated on that and how that might impact people, but in my experience, it's very obvious that they're coming on to you. It's not like, oh, hello, Mr. Plumber guy, and then they go at it.
I don't know. I feel like I'm a little naive sometimes, whether people are hitting on me or not. I'm like, I'm just being friendly, but are you
But
being
in porns,
friendly?
it's not,
But are they
it's
thinking,
it's
well,
pretty
that's
clear. It's like, hey, sexy, what you got there in your pants?
true. But the storylines behind, like, leading up to it are like,
Mm,
walk in the room. All of a sudden, the lights go out.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they're just hammering each other, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Who knows? That's a really good question. I'd love to know if that impacts people's view of how to flirt,
Yeah. Yeah.
what constitutes flirting, what constitutes being hit on.
Right.
I know from experience that a lot of men have thought I was hitting on them when I was not.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Yes, same. Like, if I'm going to hit on you, you're going to know I'm hitting on you. But if I'm not, like,
I'm
then it's
just
like,
I'm so friendly. And honestly, like
same.
I want to hug everybody.
Yes, I was not a hugger until recently, but yeah, me too. Like I get yes,
I have to
yes,
stop myself from touching people when I talk to them. I always want to like put my hand on their arm or give them a hug and I have
yeah,
to stop myself because consent matters,
yeah, yes.
you
Boundaries.
know? And so I think that energy though, people feel it and they take it as I'm coming on to them or I'm
Yeah,
interested in them sexually
yeah,
maybe or
yeah.
yeah, I do run
Oh.
into that. And now you're making me wonder, is it because they watch porn?
But that's just it. They maybe have some weird fantasy built up from like the storyline behind it, right? I mean, you just don't know.
There must
Like,
be like a red curly haired porn star out there.
right, right. There probably is. There probably is. Remember, it was like Debbie Does Dallas or something. Wasn't that
Oh
one of
yeah,
them?
I can't remember what she looked like. Did she have curly hair?
I don't remember.
We're gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, yeah. When we get done, you're going to start Googling red-haired porn stars.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just go
Anywho,
to chat. Find
there
me
you go.
red curly haired porn stars ASAP.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, like a picture like you pops up. You're like, oh, great. This is what they've been thinking. Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, no, I mean, I do agree that there's an issue, but like, how do you fix an issue like this when it's so common? You just don't have to go to a store anymore and rent a video or buy a video or buy a magazine anymore. Like,
Mhm.
it's like I love technology. I love where we're at with tech, with being able to be more connected with people, but then it's things like this that make me question that,
And then
and
we
there's
didn't
so
even really talk about like the darker sides of the porn industry, which I don't
Mhm.
have any experience with. The people that I know are all adult, consensually involved in what they're doing. But there is a darker side where people can be severely harmed
Yeah,
or that they're non-consensual
right.
and
I
abuse and children and
yeah. I
all
bet there's
kinds of
a lot of that.
animals. I mean, God, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
disgusting. And
Yeah,
it
I'm sure it's pretty bad and we don't know because, we're not going to flip to that dark side of the web or anything, but being that it exists is just I guess I don't understand because we have so much control over some things. Why do we not have control over this?
Mhm.
And even if
I
it's
mean, it
not
would
just
be a simple thing just to require a paywall. That's it.
yeah,
That's all they would
yeah,
need to do because you'd have to have a credit card. There would be a paper trail. You'd have your name attached to it.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and that this goes back to like how you and I talk about some of these darker like conspiracy things, sometimes. And sometimes I just have to wonder if this is another one of those we leave it open because it may create division and
Oh no, they have other plans for it. They want to put, you know how eventually, if we go on a conspiracy theory here, eventually they want to have facial recognition technology on like almost anything people might want to access so that the government can actually surveil and track every single thing we do. And they're using the
Social.
adult entertainment industry as like their guinea pig to
Oh,
do that. So instead of just creating a paywall, they're going to be doing facial recognition. At least in Canada, this is something that they're proposing, facial recognition, so that they could assess whether it's a child or an adult who are signing in, and then you have to verify your identity and all this stuff. And it's just,
hmm.
yeah,
So,
I mean, I don't know how it's going to fall, like how it's actually going to happen or what's going to happen. There are people trying to fight it because they recognize that they're using it to save children.
but
That's
under
their reason
the
for
rate,
doing it.
yes, maybe
Yeah.
not, maybe not.
Even
That's
though there's
the
other ways that they could
yeah,
do it that wouldn't be as invasive, you
got
know?
it. Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, so, but like this is the thing, like this is the age-old argument to having come from the adult entertainment industry of what is adult and consensual, and we just let people do what they want to do when it comes to what they do in the bedroom,
Yes,
versus what about the people who are being harmed by it? And
right. Well, it's just like prostitution, right? I mean,
yes,
if two
exactly.
adults, if two adults consensually want to pay one another or
Hmm.
the other one, um, to me, it's not my business.
No, if you could do it for free, then why can't you do it for money? And it's not just for money. They trade it for groceries. They trade it for a place to sleep. They trade it for drugs. They trade it for whatever it is that they need, depending on the person, or money. And it's a job. And a lot of people who are in the adult entertainment industry, whether they're working in adult film or they're sex workers or exotic dancers or whatever they're doing, they're actually just entrepreneurs. They're running a business, and they're actually really
Yeah,
good at running businesses, and
right,
it's amazing.
right,
Totally competent people. And so people, but then there's people who are being trafficked, people who are being exploited,
right.
people who are underage, um, people who, and then there's also people posing as sex workers who are being predators towards people wanting to purchase the services of sex workers. So
Right.
there's harm being done that way.
Yeah,
And then people never talk about male sex workers or talk about the men who are in adult film. Like they always just assume, oh, there are no male sex workers and the
yeah,
men in adult film, lucky guys.
yeah,
There's just the whole conversation is very stereotypical instead of looking at these are human beings,
right, right.
and the difference between consent and non-consent. It's a big difference.
Yeah, it almost makes me wonder if there was more openness around some of the things, maybe there wouldn't be so much other people, innocent people taken advantage of.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know.
Everybody has different fetishes and things that turn them on,
Well, I
unfortunately.
think, yeah, I think like the more open we are, because this is what happens. Somebody with a kink comes across a website
Hmm.
where it appears that children are being harmed or
Hmm.
something is going on, and they can't report it because then
They
they'll
looked at
be,
it.
they looked at it, they followed the link, they did whatever they did. I'm not saying that they purposely went to look at child porn. If they did, I would hope they would be caught and put in jail.
Right,
But
right.
if they just came across something where they thought someone's being exploited, this doesn't feel right, this doesn't seem right,
Yeah.
just for the shame of admitting that they were looking at
Hmm.
porn. Uh,
Yep. They may
also,
be married or,
yeah. And
yeah,
also because like a lot of people are scared of the underground industries, like they could be
right.
violent, the people could be violent if they report them, they get their name
Yep,
or they get to be targeted. And because
yep.
you don't, especially if you're not in the industry. Like I remember when I first became an exotic dancer, I had something happen to me in one of the clubs and I never told anyone because I thought that the clubs were all run by organized criminals and I didn't want to, I just wanted to go to work and leave. And I don't
Yeah,
want to cause
yeah,
any drama.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
found out later, because I was in the industry for a long time, that that was just silly of me, and that if I would have reported the incident, the person would have immediately been fired, and
Mm,
it would have gone in a good way for me. But because I had
sure.
stereotypical beliefs about the
Yeah,
industry, I
yeah,
was too scared to say anything. So
yeah, yeah. That makes
yeah, I
sense.
think like people don't know, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's just seems like there's no way to control any of it, and it's just like like everything else that goes on, there's going to be the illegal side, there's going to be the legal side of it.
Hmm.
And it's all really boils down to knowing your self-control and knowing that it, like any addiction, right? Like drinking or even drugs, like if
Hmm.
you know you have an issue with porn then and you want to engage in a healthy relationship, and especially when we're talking about people like you and I who have had ostomies or pelvic floor issues
Hmm.
or all the abdominal surgeries, like even more of a reason why, like, if your partner is watching or doing these things or thinking that this is normal, like that's not how you're going to treat somebody like you or I. It's just not going to
Right.
happen. Um,
Apparently there's even
but
ostomy porn.
you know what? I just heard this recently in the
I
group.
have heard it. I even had someone ask me about it, like, hey, because I used to be an adult entertainer. Do you do this kind of? I was like, I didn't even know people did that.
Either did I, but I actually only knew recent or not recently, a few, actually maybe 5, 6 years ago, I was working and I was because I did law enforcement training and I worked in police departments and I was
Wow, I learn new things about you all the
yeah,
time.
I had law enforcement training. Anyways, so I was done. I was out of that after a while and I was working at a restaurant and someone I went to school with came in with his girlfriend. We were sitting there chatting and he was now working in corrections or and as a sheriff in the jail setting. And he was telling me about a man who had an ostomy who was letting other gentlemen.
I know. It just makes me want to cry. That just can't be good for you. That
I
can't
just,
be safe. That
I
cannot be
had
safe.
I mean, it shook my world. Like, just when you think you've heard everything, you hear something new. That was one
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
And then recently in our Facebook group, somebody had posted, um, in Ostomy Body Positive, somebody posted about that there is some kind of groups out there or something. But
Yeah.
it's one gentleman, I guess, who's been banned from a lot of the groups because he specifically will ask for um, photos of people's stomas.
He
But
probably doesn't even
everybody's
have an
on it by now.
ostomy. He probably doesn't even have an
He
ostomy.
probably not. Probably not.
Damn, see what I
Very
mean though? But that is the kind of
strange.
world we're living in now.
It's strange. It's very
Yeah,
strange.
it is. It is strange. It's
Very.
also strange that people feel entitled to go around asking people for pictures of them.
Yeah.
Because that
Yeah.
happens to me too. I've had no
Really?
one's asked me for pictures of my stoma, but people have just asked me for naked pictures of me.
From the Facebook groups and stuff.
Yeah.
So glad you mentioned this. Thank you for mentioning this. About a month ago, I posted in the Facebook group because a young woman who was clearly had some disabilities going on posted a picture and she had like 3 men reach out to her. She said were obviously married. She did not want to give me their names, probably for the same thing that you just talked about, the fear of someone saying
Targeting
something
you.
to her. They were
Mhm.
married men.
Yeah.
And I posted a little rant about how you don't ask for you. First of all, we're not supposed to be messaging people in the group
Mm-mm.
privately.
Yeah.
Secondly, you're asking for pictures or saying sexual things to somebody who's recently posted and said, I'm posting for the first time and showing my ostomy back. Ooh, girl, I I said some stuff and I used some exclamation points and I had another member of the group call me out just for using exclamation points to show how upset I was about.
They called you out?
They totally called me out on it.
Like how? Like saying you shouldn't have?
Yeah, because I should not be putting this in front of everybody. I should be reaching out to the people privately on
What?
my
No,
own.
you
Oh,
need
she didn't
everyone
get.
to know in that group.
We need everybody to know that you cannot do
Yeah.
this. You
Yeah. I wrote a
cannot.
post in my group too, the Intimacy After Ostomy group on Facebook,
Yeah.
uh, saying no private messaging because our group isn't a dating group.
No.
I said if you want to private message someone, ask them in the group for
Yeah.
permission.
Yes.
You know,
Exactly.
if you're
That was the
talking and you think you have like a connection or someone says, I'm single and blah, 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 and
yes.
you're single, ask
Yes.
them, say, hey, you're single too. Can I send you a private message?
Yeah. Yes.
You know,
Yes.
none of us are going to judge you. But if
Right.
you're not
Exactly.
willing to do that publicly, then maybe you shouldn't be doing it at all because maybe you're in a relationship or maybe you're married.
And that's what it is, just like you
Hmm.
said. So yeah, it's an interesting world. Technology's making life interesting, but also scary
It's
and good at
creating
the
some
same time.
entitlement, it seems like. Like, I wonder if that's part of the porn
Oh,
thing, the whole porn culture too, is creating this entitlement that you can go around and ask women for naked pictures of them, or even just reaching out to women that you don't know and
yeah,
saying
yeah,
inappropriate sexual things. It happens to
right.
me a lot because I'm an intimacy coach. Um,
I bet.
People often t want to tell me their kinks and their
Mm.
fantasies and different things, and I think they're trying to get like a reaction out of me. Um,
See, and
it's
I hate that for you because that's not fair,
but to
you
me
know?
it just shows me that they're not my ideal coaching client.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true, but it's not fair for you to put yourself out there as like, hey, this is what I do. Because this is what I do does not mean X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I am not your dumping ground for whatever
Yeah.
you're thinking,
It's hard, right? Because on one hand, I don't want to like kink shame anybody because that could be part of the reason they're reaching out
True,
because it's something they're ashamed of. I had a
true.
client who felt ashamed of his a desire to be an exhibitionist.
Hmm.
And we'd explored that. And a lot of it was because he just didn't feel like he had a lot of control over his body. And when he was able to present his body in a sexual way, the way he wanted to present it, it felt empowering for him after all the medicalization and the
Mm,
desexualization that we all go through. And I
yeah,
could relate. I post pictures of me in lingerie all the time because I feel empowered by it,
yeah, yeah.
and so, but because he was a man, and that's not, see, and so now we're going to the other way where it's socially acceptable for women to post these kinds of pictures, but
But
not for men.
mm,
And so he was experiencing shame for it. So it's actually quite a complex topic, really. And you don't know when a person is reaching, when I don't know when a person's reaching out to me, I don't know right away whether it's because it's something they might want to explore
yeah.
in coaching or if it's just them trying to get their rocks off, you know?
Right, exact. So that's the challenge for you. That makes
Yeah,
that's hard. That's
it is.
difficult. It
But
is
I'm
very
pretty good
difficult.
after a few exchanges at telling and then I just don't pursue a coaching relationship
Yeah.
with those people because that's not what they're looking for.
Yeah. It's if it's not aligned, it's not aligned.
No, it's
Hmm.
not.
Hmm.
But yeah, I do. It is kind of like annoying. And if I wasn't an intimacy coach, I think it would irritate the fuck out of me.
I would be, there's no way. I mean, I think because I'm the admin of those two big groups, like they know better, right? Like
Mhm.
not because they should, not because they just know they're gonna get, like I have the power to be like, click,
Yeah,
boom, bye, you're
you're
out,
done.
you're
You're
done,
toast.
you're toast, peace.
Yeah.
So I'm glad for that. But if I was in yours, yeah, I wouldn't be able to handle. I wouldn't. I'd no. I'd be when I found out other people are having that issue. It's like Mama
Sounds like
Bear
you were
comes
really
out.
upset. I
Yep,
know.
yep,
Yeah, I could see that. I would be upset if knew it about that happening to, especially like a younger woman who posted
yes,
her bag for the first time. Like that's
yeah,
so inconsiderate.
yeah. Because now how is she
And
going to
it's
feel going forward?
predatory. And
It's
and they were
predatory.
probably like way older than her, I bet too. That's always just shocks me how these like much, much older men will like prey on these younger women.
Mm-mm.
Entitlement. And then, so we went from talking about porn to talking about men that piss us off.
Well, I mean, it's all kind of the same nature, right? I mean, we're all like sex is sex, and sex is like a human nature, and we can't avoid the topic. Um, Even, we're going to have to get deeper in ostomy body positive, talking about some sex related issues very soon here. And I just think that, a lot of people kind of dance around the issue
Mhm.
of going very deep into discussing, like you talk about some of these things that are deeper, deeper, deeper,
Mhm.
and they need to be discussed
Yeah. Well,
because,
I mean,
mhm,
like, I don't know about you, but I wanted to know the things that I talk about. I wanted to know those things.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
couldn't find information on most of it, anything to do with ostomies,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
If we don't talk about it, then people aren't going to know. And here's the thing, like us talking right now about these weird fantasies about the stomas, right? Like if this conversation may help a young woman who gets asked by somebody or a gentleman who gets asked by somebody to send them a stoma pic and they don't know what's actually happening. So awareness over all this stuff
Yes.
is key. So we
Mhm.
have to keep talking about the things that we're encountering as coaches, as advocates, as admins of these Facebook groups. It's important. So
Yeah,
I think we're doing our due diligence.
I agree. I'm really glad you actually brought that up because I had no idea that that was happening. I knew there was stoma porn because I heard about it and someone asked me about it, but I did not know that people are going around and asking in the groups for stoma pics. That has not happened to me yet, and
It
hopefully it
is,
doesn't.
yes. Better not.
That person will be blocked and reported so fast
Yes,
because, like,
yes.
seriously, like, leave my stoma alone. That's like sending me a message and asking me to see my vagina.
Yeah, it is. It's almost the same thing,
It's
right?
actually worse to me because it's like, I don't know, like, don't sexualize my stoma. Like, my
That's what I'm
vagina, okay,
saying.
I understand sexualizing that, but do not sexualize my
Right, right. That is a exit only, okay?
So funny because I don't have a butt anymore. That's why I'm laughing so hard.
I'm laughing because you're laughing. Oh my
Oh, because I used to, when I had a butthole,
God.
I actually was not, it was not just exit only completely. I allowed a little bit of play because I actually enjoyed that
Mhm.
before I started having issues back there. But now it's definitely an exit only.
There's a nothing actually. Oh man.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, this is good. I think yeah, we may have veered off a little bit, but I think it's all necessary because like I said, awareness is key and
yeah,
somebody
and I
has to
think if
talk about
people,
it.
yeah,
Somebody.
and the whole thing with porn, like the movie you saw, for instance, and the things that I mentioned in the video, and if you ever read the book, Your Brain on Porn, how it affects sexual function, how you go into a bedroom with a real person, and it's not as exciting
Yeah.
because it's not like porn sex, and
Right.
you know,
Right.
and
And and it's not even just the idea that it's not porn sex, but when women, especially when you're first getting with a woman or probably a man experiences this too, but like you're just getting comfortable with that person. So the first one or two times isn't going to be super erotic or sometimes it takes a little time to get to that place.
yeah,
So
that's very
so
true.
yeah. So
It can be really awkward often the very first time that you make
yeah.
love to someone,
Yeah. Yeah.
the first time you kiss or the first time you have sex can be
Yeah.
awkward because you're new, you both turn your head the same way at the same time or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just because you're still getting to know each other. Then when you
Yeah.
get into rhythm with each other's body, that awkwardness will go away. But at
Yeah.
first it's not there. And treating your partner like they're in a porn is not going to, that's going to make it more awkward
You can
and
push that person
less
away.
enjoyable.
Hmm.
And I think if people are having problems with like erections or um, feeling desire for a real intimate relationship or struggling to, make friends with or asking themselves if they're watching too much porn,
Sure.
those are the people that I hope after watching this will do some research to see
Yeah.
if it is impacting them because
Right.
if they could just stop watching porn. And for some people who are addicted, that would be hard, very
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah.
But I think that it can affect people who even don't consider themselves addicted, who will
Yeah.
go like a month here, a month there, but then they'll go hard for a while on the
Right.
porn.
Right.
I think that can affect people too. So
Mhm.
if anyone is having their own situations, now they can say, "Wow, I never thought it might be from how much porn I'm
Exactly.
watching."
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's that awareness piece. I love it. Doing great things, Trina.
Thank you. I'm glad we
Yeah.
talked about this today
Me too. Me too.
because I love sex.
Okay.
And I love adult entertainers.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. To each their own.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up this episode of Rewired and Desired. And next week, we don't know what our topic is yet, but we will
No.
figure it out in the next few
Yeah.
days.
Yeah, we will. Have a great week, everybody.